time to check if I'm live. Am I live? Am I live over here? I'm living over here. I'm just joking. That's my New York accent. I don't know. All right, so this stream over here, that's Andrew Dice Clay. In case you didn't know. The reason this is called the Last Friday stream is because I got a job, and it starts on Monday, 5 days a week, like any other job. And I gotta bring the mic over here. Give me a second. That's what I say. Okay, so 5 days a week, like any other job. I think it's full time. I don't know. Actually, it is full time. Let me just say that it's full time. Sorry, I'm not organized today. And so for me over here, my person, I do this stream at Friday around 10 o'clock. It is 10:20 right now. So I don't know if I will be able to continue the streaming, especially on Friday. I'm gonna try to do streaming on Saturday. No, it's Saturday. No, it's March. It's Saturday. I don't know. I can't do it in a Boston accent. Whatever. Okay. Yeah, so I don't know if I'll be able to do streams on Saturday because I don't like to do streams when people are in the house. And yeah, I don't like to do streams when people are in the house. Because they come into my room and they're like, "What are you doing? You're just talking to yourself." And so I might continue to do streams. I definitely will keep the podcast going. That's for sure. Yeah, because while I'm on the bus, I'll write the episodes and the outlines of the episodes. Yeah. So yeah, last Friday stream ? Because I don't know my schedule yet. I have to figure that out. I could do it Friday night. I don't know. We'll see. So yeah. Anyways. So I had an episode before I started streaming about how to grow a community. And so now I'm going to do an episode how to run a community. And then I gave up my dream. I put my dream on hold of having a custom made forum, which is what I have now at openpodcast.xyz, the URL for Open Podcast. Because some features are missing, I'll do an episode. The next episode is gonna be that the form is done. The done form. So yeah, I'm gonna do an episode on the forum. It's hosted on Discourse, and then I use DigitalOcean for the actual hosting. What else is there? Form. Yeah, so I'm going to do an episode going through the original custom form that I built in React. And then I'm going to go over this Discourse form, and then I'm going to talk about what I want for the future of the form. Because I still want a custom form. Because there are some things missing from Discourse that I would like to be in the form, and I can build it eventually. I just need I need to do some research. Yeah. I finished the blog. Or no, I didn't finish the blog. Blog, if I wanted it to be done, it'd be done. So I'm hosting the blog. Why do I keep doing this? Put your hands down. How about this? Okay. So the blog is it's hosted on DigitalOcean as well. It's from Ghost. I don't need this in my ears right now. Yeah, it's a Ghost blog. The first article that I wrote is about how to interview someone, and basically what the articles are going to be are my podcast in written form. And so right now it's the article how to interview someone is doing pretty well on Reddit and the podcasting subreddit. I think it's number 1. Actually, we could check this. Hello, person listening. If you want to introduce yourself or have any questions, let me know. Because especially right now, I can see. So yeah, I got some praise about the article. Yeah, it's number 1. So that's good. I checked the analytics, which is on Full Story. I just want to see how many people are on it. So 93 people. It's a lot for something that I've done. I don't get a lot of people looking at my stuff. So that's, yeah, solid advice, very helpful, stuff like that. Not a lot of comments on it though. So yeah, let me get into the episode. Let me drink some water first. All right. Okay. And then the newsletter will have my article featured in it. So yeah, more promotion. And then I'm going to promote it on Barnacles, and then, which gets me a lot of traffic for my stuff. I have Growing the Community. That episode is on there right now, and it got like 60 downloads so far. So yeah, I do pretty well on that website too. Okay, whatever. Let's start the podcast. Okay. I forgot the intro. Building an indie business in the center of venture capital. I'm Alex Edmonds, and this is the Building an Indie Business podcast. Okay, so this episode today that you will be listening to is how to run a community. And the reason why I wanted to do this episode is because I had how to grow a community, and I didn't talk about anything else about a community. And so I'm going to be talking about the benefits of a community, the problems that you will run into with a community, the don'ts of a community, random tips. I'll talk about how to grow a community, and I'll talk about that last because I have some new ideas or new things that I'm doing to grow a community. But I will talk about the old stuff just to give people a refresher and introduce it for people who are new to the podcast. Okay. Before we start, the survey is in the show notes if you want to fill that out. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Okay. So the benefits of running a community for your podcast. The first benefit is you can easily get feedback from your listeners. You can, let's say you have a Telegram group. You can say, hey, the episode is out now. If you have any questions or feedback, let me know. And as soon as people see that and listen to the episode, you can get feedback almost instantly or within 24 hours, which is something you wouldn't be able to do if you didn't have a community built around your podcast. Okay, another benefit of having a community is the members of the community can be your support system. So when you are having problems with your podcast or you're down about it, you can tell people in the community about your struggle with the podcast or whatever, and they will help you out with your problems, which is very nice to have. The final benefit of a community is you can create online friendships and take those friendships to the real world. So let's say you're traveling to a different city. Let's say you're traveling to New York. If you have a listener in New York, you can say on the podcast, like for your announcements, that you're headed to New York. And if any of your New York listeners want to hang out with you, get in contact with you. And that way you're creating real friendships. Okay. Now to the problems that you will have running a community. Okay. The first problem that I've run into with my community is spam. There are people that create accounts to send people links, and that's all they do. So they will send a link out to the community and they want people to click on it to make money. So one way you can prevent people spamming the community is you insert a paywall to the community. This adds an extra layer, and some spammers, might not want to pay to spam your community. So one way to get real users around this is you can add them manually or give them a code that will bypass the paywall. Okay. Another way to avoid spam is make your most active users admins to the community, and as soon as they see spam, they can delete it as well. And this creates less problems, or it's something that you don't have to think about. One less problem to think about. Okay. Another problem that I've run into, which is not a big deal, but I see it, is people lurking the community. And one way to handle lurkers is recurring posts. So when someone is a lurker, the reason why they are a lurker is because they feel like they don't have much to contribute to a community. So you can give them examples of types of posts that they can add and they can contribute. So one example is a post about milestones. So let's say you run a podcast community. Okay, that's really interesting. Where'd I get that idea from? Anyways, you run a podcast community or a podcasting community. One recurring post that you can do is milestones. So every time you reach a milestone with your podcast, you can post about it in that thread. So types of milestones would be number of downloads total for your podcast, or per podcast or per episode. So let's say if your episode reaches 100 downloads, that's one milestone that you could talk about. Another recurring post that you can do is weekly new episodes. So have a thread where people can post their new episodes if they had a new episode that week. Okay. You can also have a monthly thread to welcome new members of the community. And that way, those lurkers can view that thread and be introduced to new members. And if they have something in common with a new member, they can interact with them. Okay. The next recurring post that you can do is ask members, or have a thread asking members if they're having problems. And if the lurker is having problems, they'll want to share about it to contribute to the community and have their problem fixed. Okay. You can ask for advice specifically from someone you know is lurking. And that way you're directly addressing them and they will feel the need to respond. Okay. Another way to fix your lurking problem is to share your threads on different platforms. So share your thread from your community on social media, and that way your community will get more visibility and more people will come to your community. Okay. The final way you can deal with lurkers is gamification. And so what gamification is giving community members points for contributing to the community. And that way, if they're a lurker, they might keep posting or just post in general to gain points. I don't really like this method though, because it's tricking the members, or it's like a gray area to me at least. So yeah, that's one method. Another problem that you'll run into is people. So the way you want to avoid problems with people or people in the community is by setting an example for the type of conversations that will be that are okay in the community. And the way you can do this is by being active yourself in the community, or have a set example of conversations that you want in the community, like pinned in your community, and that way people know what kind of conversations you can have. Okay, so another problem that you will run into with people is they're inappropriate, or they try to hurt. They say inappropriate things basically. For example, I was in one community where someone was asking about their content not being viewed, and they were asking about if other people see the trend in with their content. And then someone was like, "Oh, is your content so garbage that your content is being viewed less?" And I felt that was kind of out of line. This wasn't my community, so thank God. So the way you want to deal with that is by messaging that person who's being inappropriate in private and saying like, "Hey, that wasn't cool." Okay. Now on to the don'ts of a community. One thing you don't want to do when you're creating a community is making it difficult for people to join. So don't make them jump through hoops. Don't make them sign up through email and add their Twitter account, add their Facebook account. Just make it very easy. Try to make it one click to join. Okay. Another thing you don't want to do is spam members with emails from the community. It's kind of annoying. People don't like it. They'll delete the emails eventually as soon as they see them, and that might discourage them from contributing to the community. Okay. Another thing you don't want to do is make members feel bad. So if someone's new to your community and they ask a very basic question, don't make them feel bad for not knowing that question. Just point them in the right direction of how they can get the answer to the question. Point them to a previous thread that answers that question. When people join a community and you make them feel bad, that discourages them from participating. And when someone else from the community sees a person getting put down, that discourages them from contributing to the community. Okay. The last thing that you don't want to do is promote an empty community. So don't start promoting your community as soon as you create it. What you want to do is you want to wait a bit, wait for people to ask questions, respond to questions, and then you want to promote it, like have a big launch. Okay. Random tips that I have. The first tip that I have is email is the most inclusive. So email is very straightforward. You use your email, which everyone has, then they can join the community. Don't make them, when other communities, you have to create an account and then you join. Like, you have to create a social media account and then join. This is bad. Not bad, but it's not good, because it adds an extra layer to join the community, and with email you avoid all that. Okay. Some people may want to promote their stuff, so have a section where people can specifically promote their stuff. One thing I don't like about some communities, or especially the ones that are hosted on chats, like chat forums or whatever. I don't like when they're like, we're in the middle of an interesting conversation and someone new comes in and then they're promoting their content. I find it very annoying, and just have a place where people can promote their stuff, and that avoids that problem. Okay. The next tip is have a place where people can donate. And this is because it's expensive to run a community. So if you don't want people paying for the community, just have like a section, and that way when people ask, oh, can I donate? You point them over there and you have their money. Yeah, it's not a bad thing for people to donate their money. Don't worry about it. Okay. The next tip I have is immediately put ads on your community, and that way you can monetize it as well. Same thing with the donations. The types of ads that you want to have in the community is from companies that will benefit from your community, or like more people in your community. So I run a podcasting community. You know this already. So the types of ads that I would put on the community, or like in the community. Okay. The types of ads that I would put in the community are ads for companies that would benefit from the creation of more podcasters. So a microphone company, a podcasting host, things like that. Okay. Have a place where people can commit or submit feature ideas, and that way you know what the community wants from within the community, like features and stuff like that. Okay. My last random tip is create an FAQ, and this is how you avoid having to type the same exact questions over and over again. When someone asks the basic questions, you just point them in the directions of the frequently asked questions, and if a question gets asked repeatedly, add it to the frequently asked questions, and you don't have to deal with it too much. Okay, finally, how to grow a community. New stuff. Okay, so the first thing that you can do to grow a community is niche down. And what I mean by this is choose a specific section of your community, the type of community that you have of people. So I run a podcasting community. And so right now I'm focusing on people that have a technology podcast. And that way I can post in like technology places, or like forums, other forums, to get people to join the community. I'm not focusing on every podcaster, every someone doing sports, someone doing comedy. It's very focused, and that way it's easier to get them to join the community because I can speak their language in quotes. Okay. Make it easier for people to join. That's another one. yeah, that's another one. I talked about that before, so I don't really need to go over that again. How to grow your community. Third tip, interviews. And this can be either you going out and being interviewed and talking about the community, or you interviewing people in the community and have them talk about how being in the community has benefited them. Okay. Directories. So there are directories for communities, and you should go out and look for those directories for the community, or like a community's directory in your niche, and that way anyone who's looking at those community directories can easily find your community on that directory's website. Okay. The final new way to grow your community is email. This means have a newsletter, put the community, like a link to the community in that newsletter, put the community, a link to the community in your email signature. And yeah, that's the final point about email. What I talked about in the last episode, social media. Create a social media account for your community, and then you can post the different threads in your community on your social media accounts, and then people will see that stuff and join your community. Yes. Okay. The next thing you can do is write. And you write about how things related to the topic of your community. So I run a podcasting community. I've said this like 4 times this episode. Sorry. And I write about podcasting. And that way I can relate my writing to my community. And so recently I wrote an article about interviewing, and I talked about Open Podcast, and that way people can click on the link to Open Podcast in the article and then join the community. Okay. Interacting in other communities. So in other communities, podcasting might be like a little section. And what I do is I go to those communities and I answer questions about podcasting. And then I put a link to Open Podcast in my profile, so that way people can see my answers to their podcasting questions. And they, if they have any more questions, they can join the community. Okay. Creating interactions. So you want to create interactions within the community. So when other people want to join the community and they're looking at it, they see that Open Podcast is very much active, because when someone looks at a community, they may be discouraged to join the community if they see that the community isn't really active. Okay. The final way to grow a community is provide value. And how you can provide value is by helping your community members in any way. So let's say someone in Open Podcast doesn't know how to submit their podcast to the podcast players, the major podcast players. What I can do as the person who created Open Podcast is create a video that will show them how to submit their podcast to all the major podcasting players. And that way I'm providing value to that community member and any other community member who needs help with that same problem, because I can link them to the video. Okay. That's all I have for running a community. Thank you for listening. If you want to host a podcast and you don't want to go through the trouble of adding your podcast to every platform, things like that, you can host a episode of the Open Podcast Community Podcast. Send me the audio and what you want in the show notes, and I will add it to the Open Podcast Community Podcast. So if you're interested in that, join the Telegram chat and let me know, and we could work something out. Thank you for listening. Have a nice day. Bye. Whew. 22 minutes. Nice. Okay. Dude, my throat hurts. Around 20 minutes, my throat starts to hurt. That's why you see me start to take breaks. Okay, no one's watching me. That's disappointing. I want to cry now. Okay. Let me promote this now, because I find that people don't like the recording because I don't interact with them. So, from now on, I'm going to start promoting it after the recording. Okay. Okay. I can push this back now. I don't know why I need to tell you all this, but okay. Oh, hello, person watching. This back now. How are you? I don't know why I need to tell you. You're on Twitch, but okay. Oh, hello, person watching. This back now. How are you? I don't know why I need to. You're on Twitch now, but okay. Oh, hello, person
whoopsie.
This back now. How are you? I don't know why I need to. You're on Twitch now, but okay. Oh, hello, person
whoopsie.
This back now. How are you? I don't know why I need to. You're on Twitch now.
No problem.
Oh, hello.
Whoopsie.
Back now. How are you? I don't know why I need to. You're on Twitch now.
No problem.
Oh, hello.
Whoopsie.
Okay.
How are you?
You're on Twitch.
Oh,
No
two people are
problem.
watching. Okay.
Oh.
Any questions?
Whoopsie.
Okay.
What am I gonna do?
Oh, headliner.
Okay.
Oh,
So what
two
I'm
people
doing
are
now,
watching. Okay.
if you're new
Any
to the
questions?
streaming,
Okay.
what am I gonna do?
Yeah,
If you're new to my
headliner.
Friday
Oh.
streams, is we're just expecting the not funny, dude. Okay. Oh, I got to. Okay, so what I'm doing now is I am running a community. I'm turning the audio file into a video file so I can post it on YouTube. Yeah, and the reason why I do this first is because it takes the longest. It'll take like an hour to get the email for this stuff. Yeah. This episode is so long. I don't like. So I didn't. I don't like doing long episodes. Because it hurts my throat, first of all, which is annoying, especially after like 20 minutes, right? But also, even I don't want to listen to long episodes of my own podcast. When I did the interview, usually listening to the episode is the first thing I do on Monday. And when I did the interview, it was a 50-minute episode. I didn't listen to it for like 3 or 4 days. So, yeah, that was totally, it was super long. Yeah, I don't know what else to say about that. Super long. Okay. Yes, any questions from the person on Twitch? Any questions at all? Oh, okay. No one's on Twitch. Okay. Telegram. Okay. Oh, I didn't. What the fuck? Okay, weird. I thought I promoted it. Oh, okay. Wrong thing. I promoted it in the wrong section of Telegram. Okay. Newsletter. Chimp. Okay. Now I'm doing the community newsletter. Of course. Oh. It's username, not email. Okay. No one is watching. Okay, I'm gonna save my throat. Okay. So long. That's what I say. That's what okay. Hello, person. Any questions about what I'm doing here or anything else? Have you seen my face before, or is this your first time watching one of my streams? Okay, so what I'm doing here is I'm doing the newsletter for the open podcast community. The the open podcast community forum has been created. If you would like to learn from other podcasters or have questions about podcasting, come join the open podcast community forum. Add a link to it Okay. That's the one. Okay. Ooh. Still no. Okay. So up front and center is my article. How to interview a leave me alone a podcast guest. Do you know why it is? Well, it is up front and center for this issue of, no, it's not, it's blog, of the newsletter, because I wrote the article, 1, and 2, I write the newsletter as well. So yeah, my content is first, because it's great. It's a really great article. It's 1900 words about how to interview someone. Why wouldn't a podcaster want this? Some guy wrote an article about how to interview a podcast guest. Podcasters can learn how to prepare for an interview, what not to do. I don't remember what else I wrote. The benefits of interviewing and so much more. That's a comma. That's not correct. Okay. Ooh, okay. Yes. I was worried. Okay. So, the next thing that I want to feature is I don't know, it's on my phone. It always is on my phone. Oh, it's this one. I kind of get tired of writing about the same exact content, right? Or no, like content from the same exact people. So I try to mix it up a bit every week. Sometimes that doesn't work out. But yeah, this week it did. I have it did, and I'm happy about it. Yeah. Okay. Believe it or not, George isn't home. Please leave a message at the tone. I must be out or I'd pick up the phone. Where could I be? Believe it or not, George is not home. God Fund adds to production companies to their portfolio. Okay. I don't add names to the podcast. No, I don't say names on the podcast, but for the newsletter, I kind of have to. Actually, I do say names on the podcast. The only real time I say names on my podcast is when I'm trying to be nice and I'm complimenting someone's work. Okay. 2 newest companies join the Podshare passion for example orientation and extend beyond audio. Rivery's focus on and ... takes a journalistic... Okay, I don't... Rivery Media is a development and production studio podcast using AI-driven narrative analysts to build engaged audiences around IP with a clear path to adaptation in television, film, and location-based entertainment. Focus on producing premium scripted fiction audio series. Rivery is marrying Hollywood talent with innovative storytelling and premium sound design. The Ceiling Group was blah 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 blah. Is Rivery's leading John Jacob Dreamheimer Schmidt. His name is my name too. Jim. Okay. ... Pod Fund. A podcasting VC firm has invested in Rivery Media and ... Who am I gonna promote? Ooh, I know who I'm gonna promote. I remember now. What you look like? Okay. Ooh, is that? No, I don't know why that happened. Okay. I'm not worried about people. I'm gonna exit this one because I'm paying for it. Okay. Dude, I haven't even... Has it even loaded yet? Yes, it has. Okay, I'm gonna do the episode now. I'm gonna do running a community. I'm running. Oh, what? Come on, dude. Wait, what? I don't understand. Okay, there it is. Never mind. What it looks like. Okay, this one's the 9th, and it's 50. Oh, 54. Damn, son. 9th, 16th. By the way, my birthday, here. So if you want to get me anything, just let me know, and I'll give you a list. Cool? Cool. Costumes, I discuss running a community for a podcast. I go over the benefits of running a community, problems you will run into. What else? Get the notes out, son. Problems. Random tips and how to grow a community. Trust no matter who you are. Running a community. I'm gonna stick with running a community. Okay. Alright, that's the episode. Okay. What button should you use? Okay. I said I was gonna promote someone. Oh, I know. Let's go to Twitter. It's just easier for me. Ooh, is that? No. Hello, person watching. Any questions? Have you ever seen my face before or watched my streams? Let me know. I'm running a survey in my mind. Grapefruit Simmons. Open podcast community. Person. Okay. No. They aren't a member of my list. I have to change that. Okay. I know her name. Okay. Podcast. Okay. While I'm here and on this platform, don't ever put the word brave into the actual title of your podcast. It's redundant. So now, let's say Beth Ann did it, the Brave podcast. Now you have two podcasts back to back. So in the actual title, it just looks weird. Like Bill Burr did the Monday morning podcast. Actually, let's the Monday morning podcast. And I'm gonna click on it. See, the literal title is the Monday morning podcast. So when it just looks weird. It's kind of redundant. It's like if you were to put website in the title of your website. I don't know. It just looks weird. Don't judge me. Oh, overcast. It's overcast. Be brave. It's this one. I need to subscribe to this, I think. Okay. That was such a long episode. Dude. That's why I like 10-minute episodes, bro. It's just very, very short and simple. I think that was is that the longest episode I've done? I don't know why I'm checking this right now, but I am. 22. 20, yeah. Wait. Okay. If you don't count the episode on the final book discussion episode that I've done, which was a 500-page book. Which one is it? Oh yeah, it's over there. Evil by Design. That was the last book discussion episode I did. That was 26 minutes long, but I was also like flipping through the pages, so I wasn't talking as much. And these episodes lately, I've been talking all over the place. Yes, but I mean, I think it's good. Okay, I'm almost done here. Even though I don't know who's listening. It's brought to you by the Open Podcast Community. Okay, yes. Beth Ann. Does she interview people? I need to listen to this one. I haven't. Ooh, I don't. Okay, let me just. Okay, I need to check. I'm gonna check. The Brave. Okay. Okay, this might be a solo podcast. I'm checking.
Hello there and welcome to The Brave, a podcast all about resilience and dealing with the challenges and complexity of life in the 21st century. I'm your host Beth Vincent, and in each episode we do a dive into a different aspect of resilience or a topic related to resilience, whether that's physical, emotional, mental, or the resilience of places and systems. So this week we have a kind of a personal resilience topic, which is conflict and specifically navigating conflict. And conflict is very interesting. I come from a family where conflict is kind of aired very vocally. We were quite a... my mum's going to kill me for talking about this. We were quite a shouty family, and that, I think, has influenced me very much to be someone who is a conflict... I don't want to say seeker. I don't necessarily go out and try and create conflict, but I'm not someone who shies away from it. And I generally think they at least took, this on board. But what I absolutely need out of this conversation is for them to understand my position on this. People's identity, people's kind of...
I was gonna do... I still don't have a third article. Explorers. Okay. Alright. Streaming is almost done. How old is this article? Oh, this is new. Okay, let's read this and... Incremental lift, the next evolution in podcast advertising. Move. The IAB predicts the podcast market will reach 1 billion by 2021. Of course, many in the podcast industry would love to see that happen sooner. A recent report from West One surveys over 100 executives in the podcast found that when asked what it will take for podcasts to become an ad medium, most of the responses center around improvement. Alright. Why is this a new tab? Okay. Fair enough. Okay. day is it right now? Friday the 6th. Wednesday the 11th. 3:30 a.m. Okay. And the sound wave goes here. Okay. Alright, folks. That's it. That's all I have for you today. Thank you for watching. Have a